You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. We have great news coming in that suggests more charges against R. Kelly have been dropped. This time in Minnesota, where he was accused by yet another Jane Doe who also sought a guilty verdict and monetary compensation, claiming R. Kelly had abused her, this time citing alleged payments in exchange for a nude dance for him and later alleged when she was allegedly underage. This comes after even more serious state charges in Chicago were dropped only 3 months ago, in an event that saw District Attorney Kim Foxx run short of explanations for the early surrender we already expected and saw coming. Kim Foxx was however quick to give her usual excuses, suggesting the reason they chose to drop these rather obnoxious charges was to save on government funds which could be used for prosecuting more important cases. By saying this, Kim Foxx revealed the government's lack of commitment to serve justice to all citizens that need it, and that indeed this whole frenzy of cases against R. Kelly was never about finding justice for anyone but taking down R. Kelly. The real reason behind the dropping of charges here and there is their realization that they had no real case against the R&B King, and taking him on in 2 more trials would only see the government get caught up in even more legal mistakes which would further compromise the already disputed New York and Chicago federal conviction. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office led by Mary Moriarty said in a statement that just like they believed then, they continue to believe the supposed victim survivor as to what she said Mr. Kelly did to her in her accusations. And that they continue to hold the unwavering position that R. Kelly would likely be convicted of these charges if the case proceeded to trial. However, despite their belief in the said victim, they claim they chose to drop the charges in light of federal convictions R. Kelly is already dealing with, for which he received a lengthy prison sentence and will likely spend the rest of his life in prison. R. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean however disagreed, saying, "It's the right result that the Minnesota charges are dropped for a number of reasons. We were more than ready to defend the case however had it proceeded to trial," she added, "but we are happy we don't have to," Bonjean concluded in a statement to reporters. Case analysts however suggest Minnesota allegations were just another ploy to defraud the R&B King in yet another money grab, but on learning it was going to be difficult to win this case against experienced defense attorney Jennifer Bonjean, chickening out was the better option. It looks like ever since Jennifer Bonjean got on board the case against R. Kelly as his attorney, the dynamics have dramatically changed and the government is now as careful as possible not to create more trouble for themselves than salvage something by locking horns with Bonjean. If you make a proper analysis of the exact words used by the Hennepin County attorney, you will learn that they were not sure they would win this case after all. The whole idea of dropping charges and suggesting it's because of the already secured 30+1 years of incarceration whose mother cases R. Kelly is appealing in June is a lame excuse for doing this. It only serves to show that the authorities would rather deny a few individuals an opportunity to have their cases heard than risk losing their current grip on the R&B King, which is also being challenged every single day as new evidence unfolds. Geronda Pace did make a comment after Kim Foxx announced the dropping of the Chicago state charges, saying she felt for the victims who were denied the chance to appear at least once and be heard. Similarly, the supposed Minnesota victim identified by the name pseudonym Jane Doe spoke out in a written statement after the announcement by the state suggesting she would have loved to testify against R. Kelly, but because this would not serve the government's desire, the answer was an immediate no. The dropping of what could have been another 2 major trials against R. Kelly makes his journey to freedom a lot faster and less bumpy, considering all he has to do now is win his New York and Chicago appeal before he can return to making music. This event his fans and supporters have therefore celebrated, and more wins against the House of Prejudice are yet to come. The recent disclosure of what was supposed to be private information by Timothy Savage against the Clarys has definitely got the government thinking twice before they launch an offense onto R. Kelly. They have been caught off guard because they never imagined that the world would eventually come to know the truth of what really happened. We now know that the Clarys have been fake witnesses who tricked R. Kelly into a situation that would allow them to blackmail and extort him as they pleased. We now know they lied to R. Kelly about their daughter's age. We now know R. Kelly was their victim and not the other way round. For this reason therefore, We now demand to know how the Chicago court managed to find R. Kelly guilty for RICO and Mann Act violations on the account of Azriel Clary, and because the government is not enjoying this, they know that they ought to be extra careful when making fresh allegations and pursuing R. Kelly in court. According to Jazzly Lady, we can now see signs that R. Kelly will in fact be out soon and back to making hits like he has always done. When this happens, I hope he comes out even wiser and stronger. Perhaps when he has learned how to read and write, and of course most importantly ready to choose his friends a little more wisely. It's a shame none of his so-called friends has stood up for him throughout this fight that has lasted almost half a decade. But once he is out and writing songs, I am confident every single one of them will be looking to associate with him and pretending to care. According to Anthony Foreman, I am not surprised at all that these bogus charges are being dropped one by one. After all, the truth is R. Kelly has done nothing wrong to these women. I am glad many, including myself, never turned against him, and I still listen to his music. When he finally gets out of prison, I promise you I am attending all his shows. It's unfair that his music was dropped by Sony in breach of his contract with them, because at that time there was no conviction at all for the record label to base on. They acted as if the result of the trial was already known to them. I am happy we have these achievements to celebrate as we await his release. According to Luke Constant, I wonder how those people who chose to believe the crooked government prosecutors and the media feel now. Walking around condemning the king of R&B because they were told lies and too ignorant to look at the evidence such that they could draw their own conclusions. Hate, regardless who is doing the hating, cannot stand against the truth. Thanks to HN News, the world now knows that charges have been dropped twice, and for keeping us updated on this matter. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.